Well, hello, friends. I'm Rhonda Nelson. I'm so glad you're back with me on the podcast this week. We have had some seriously eventful things happening over in our world, and I want to share one of the transformational moments that happened for me while I was in my mastermind with my mastermind people in Nashville a couple of weeks ago. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight about what we talk about inside the mastermind over the next few weeks. But today I want to talk about the thing that was really transformational for me and was a bit of a wake up call for me. Not that I hadn't thought about this before, but when you're in a group of 30 people, all very successful online entrepreneurs, all of a sudden the pressure's on. Like you gotta up your game. You gotta play with the big boys, right? So I'm in this group, love these people, and the leader of the mastermind, he started the whole week by asking us these three questions. So I'm going to get a little personal with you today. I want to make sure that you know this is a bit vulnerable, a bit raw for me, but I think that it's going to really serve you and help you. And I hope that it's going to help you really start thinking about what you need or may want to do in order to really start to leverage and grow your practice. So here we go. As I said, he asked us, the leader of the mastermind, he asked us three very specific questions. And I'm going to give you these three questions. But before I give you my answers, then I'm going to share a little bit of the backstory. So here were the three questions right off the get-go. Number one, what is no longer serving you? What is no longer serving you? What in your life, in your business, in your relationships, whatever the domain, what is it that is no longer serving you? In other words, what are the things that are going on and happening in your life that drag you down, that are energy sucks or energy drains, the things that you just go, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't want to do this anymore. Just because I've always done it doesn't mean that I need to keep doing it because it may have outlived its purpose. So number one, what is it that's no longer serving you? Number two, what is your North Star? I'm going to talk more about the North Star in a minute. But what is your North Star? What is that thing you're aiming for? Okay. And then number three, when this is the one that always kind of gets me, and it's who do you and I need to become in order to get where we want to go? So who do you need to become? What kind of changes, or who do you need to become as a person? Who do you need to become in your fitness, in your health, in your relationships, as a CEO of your practice? Who do you need to become in order to get where you want to go? That's that North Star. So all three of those questions tie together, and they tie together beautifully. So here's what kind of got me thinking about this. I realized that for me, I often just go through the motions. And I think we all do to some degree. We just go through the motions every day, week after week, month after month, quarter after quarter, and even year after year. We just keep kind of doing the same thing. We show up for work, we see patients, we go home, we eat dinner, we hang out with the fam on the weekends, and Monday morning comes and we're either super excited about going to work or just kind of so excited about going to work, or maybe you're not even excited at all anymore. But we just go through the motions. But yet at the same time, we say these things to ourselves like, well, I want to see more people, or I want to save money, or I want to get out of debt, or I want to have more time for self-care, or whatever it is. But you're saying things, I want to spend more time with my spouse, or I want to take a vacation, whatever is happening or what you're thinking about. But here's what I want to ask you. What are you doing about it? What are you doing about that? Are you just saying it? I want to, I want to, I want to. That means nothing. And I'm just as guilty as the rest. When you say, I want to fill in the blank, and you don't have an action behind it, all you're doing is creating a cycle of disappointment, failure, shame, etc., guilt that rolls around in your mind. And you say, well, I want to save money and I just can't. And then the excuses come in. So we just end up with this long list of kind of to-dos, whether they're written down or just in your mind, and all the things that have to happen in life. And then we do the busy work, And we never get down and get focused on the things that are so important that will actually help you grow personally, help you grow professionally, whether that's learning, education, training, finding a mentor, diving into your practice, getting a coach, working with people, learning a new skill, bringing in a new piece of equipment, diagnostic equipment, whatever it is. We just go, yeah, I need to do that. I need to do that. But we don't ever put the action behind it. And if nothing changes, here's the big question. If nothing changes, and this is what I had to ask myself when I'm sitting in that room with those 30 people, if nothing changes in the next 3 to 6 months, where am I going to be? Well, the answer is a no-brainer. I'm going to be in exactly the same place with exactly the same quote goals. I want to do, X. I want to spend more time doing this or that, or I want to save money, or I want to get out. I want to buy a new car. I want to move to Timbuktu. I want to, whatever it is. If I don't take an action, I'm going to be in the exact same place. And I think if you are listening, you probably had this exact same scenario play out in your life. If you look back multiple times where you say you want to do something and then we don't back it up with the action. So this is not a guilt trip, because let me tell you, I'm, shaming and shoulding and guilting all over myself here temporarily. I'm going to give you the out here in a bit. But the question is, if nothing changes, are you going to still be happy? Are you going to be happier in a year from now? Or are you still going to be having all of those same, this is what I want to do, this is what I should do? So what is it? Back to the questions. What is it that's no longer serving you in your life? If that thing is no longer serving you, it could be the thing that's keeping you or using up your time and preventing you from doing what you want to do. And what's your North Star? What is your aim? What are you pointing your missile at? What are you pointing your whole life, your business life, personal life? What is that North Star? And then who do you need to become in order to make that happen, to allow that to happen? So I recently turned 60. It was actually last week. It was my big 60 birthday. And when you turn 60, I didn't like turning 60. I don't feel old. I don't think of myself as old. But when I was in my 20s, I thought 60 was nearly dead. So interesting how your perspective changes a bit. But nonetheless, I just turned 60. And as I'm kind of, processing this new decade of my life, I'm thinking about this. So the timing of these questions 2 weeks ago and my birthday coming up was perfect, because it really made me pause and think, okay, what is no longer serving me? What are the things that are not working for me? And as I began to think about them, I thought, oh, so much of this, I wish I could go back and tell my younger self. I wish I could tell my younger self all the things to do differently, all the times that I wish that I would have had a North Star, or I would have had the insight that I have now to be able to go back. I think my life would have looked completely different in multiple ways, but it's okay. It is what it is. But right now, here I am going into my 60th decade. And I am on like the tail end of my work life. Like I'm not going to work till I'm 90. So I got to wrap this thing up at some point in the next 10, 15 years. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go. But I thought, man, I'm going to go out with a bang. So what is no longer serving me? So I got really serious about this, and I'm going to give you my answers. I'm going to just kind of walk you through the journey that I went through to realize what was no longer serving me. Well, the first thing is I realized that I'm working more than I want to. I'm working way more than I want to. And some of it is absolutely circumstantial, situational, and things that are beyond my control. But are they really beyond my control? Or could I make a decision about working more hours than I want to every week because of this circumstance? And many of you know, if you've listened to the podcast, that I have a second brick and mortar clinic in Seattle. Well, I don't live in Seattle. My home is in Las Vegas, but I haven't been home in like 8 months. And I live in Seattle. I live on a boat in Seattle. Now, I am happy, and I can make happy wherever I am. I am not an unhappy person by nature. I can find happy wherever I am. I can make it a happy situation, but it's not what I really want to do. And so I'm working in this brick and mortar clinic because I've not been able to hire anyone to come and work in the clinic. And so I've just used that as my excuse. I can't hire anyone, so I have to keep working. I can't find anyone to hire, so I can't, I have to keep working. I have to keep working. And it's not serving me. Not only is it not serving me to work so long, but this is not what I'm made to do. This is not what makes my heart soar. I can do it and I love it. And I love serving the people and I love seeing the transformation, but it's not serving me anymore. So I made the decision probably about a month or so ago that I was going to sell the clinic, sell the practice. Now, that's huge for me because I've been 10 years invested in this practice and it's my baby. And I don't want to let it go. I don't want to let it go to someone that isn't going to love it like I do. I don't want to abandon my patients. There's all this emotion that goes on with building a really successful business. And then you're going to give it to someone else to care for your baby. And so I made the decision. I kind of started taking some forward steps, but I don't think I was really serious about it until these questions came up. And I realized, I can fiddle fart around on this all day long and say, well, yeah, I'm going to sell the clinic. I'll sell it. Or maybe I'll still try to hire someone. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm still continuing to tolerate something that's no longer serving me. So you're all first to know, but like right now, today, I have made the decision that I am going to get very serious about selling this clinic. I will reach out, I'm going to find a broker, and we are going to get the deal done because the thing that's no longer serving me is working this hard. I don't want to do this anymore. But that it actually gives me like a little lump in my throat, even saying it, because that's hard for me because I'm a worker and I'm a goer. It's my personality. I'm an achiever. And the more I can achieve, the happier I am. So to let go of something that I've had to scrap for and fight for and build and really create a very successful practice, to walk away from that doesn't go well with my achiever personality. But that doesn't serve me. And so I'm going to actively sell the clinic. So if you live in Seattle and you want a great business, you can message me separately. I'll get you hooked up. But I am going to sell the practice. So that's number one. Number two, I realized that I am not being intentional about taking time off. I have not been intentional. And at the time in the mastermind, I told my group of 30 people that sometime next year, and I don't know when, but sometime next year, I'm going to take a 6-week vacation. And 4 of those weeks are going to be in Europe, providing that I can get there. Because you never know. But that's my plan. 2 weeks home, 4 weeks in Europe, because I've never been to Europe in my whole life. I know, right? I've never been over the Atlantic Ocean and I can't wait to go. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I am intentional, not taking vacation, not taking time to allow my body and my brain to rest. And you all know, as practitioners, you know how essential this is, but I'm not practicing what I preach. So I'm out on this. So next year, I'm going to be taking a 6-week sabbatical, 6-week vacation. Never done that in my whole life. And I've never been on a traveling vacation for 4 weeks. So this is going to be new and new and new. So those are the things that are no longer serving me, is working so hard and working in the clinic that I know I have control over. I wanted to blame all the circumstances and all the things, and because I can't hire, et cetera. And that all may be true. But at some point I have to draw the line in the sand. So line in the sand, I'm selling the clinic and I'm going to be very intentional about time off because I don't want to keep doing what I'm doing, right? That's what's not serving me. Number 2, the second question is, what's my North Star? My North Star in the next 6 to 12 months is really going to be generating, and I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to do another podcast that's going to dive into this a little bit more, but the terminology we use is traffic and leads. Traffic and leads. And no business is successful without traffic and leads. Basically, it's marketing. And it's one thing that I've been resistant to doing. I've been resistant to running maybe some ads, or resistant to creating some different types of like lead magnets, or that feels very vulnerable and scary to me. I'm just being super honest with you. It feels very vulnerable and very scary to me. And I know lots of people say, oh, I love you, love what you do. And I thank you so much for the kindness and the compliments. But what you don't realize is that underneath, the person that's underneath all that, sometimes I get scared. And that's my third thing, is who do I need to become in order to make all of this happen? Who do I need to become in order to sell my clinic? Who do I need to become in order to take a 6-week vacation? Who do I need to become to get out and to do a much more comprehensive, have a more comprehensive marketing strategy for my businesses. I have several. Who do I need to become? And the person that I need to become is where my vulnerability is. See, I can't even, like, I'm shaking because I really don't even want to tell you, but my vulnerability for me is I'm scared a lot of the time. I'm afraid of getting out there and saying something that might not land right with someone because I am not a people pleaser at all, but I like for everyone to get along, and I'm a caring. I care. I care. I care. I care. I want to care for people. I want to take care of them. Are you okay? Do you have everything that you need? How can I help? I'm a helper. And so for helpers to put themselves out there and run the risk of criticism is like really scary and very, very vulnerable. So I'm going to choose who I need to become is I need to become brave and courageous. Brave and courageous. Those are the two things that I'm really going to focus in on. And I have a therapist, and he and I are going to have some serious conversations about this, about how to cultivate bravery and courage. I'm pretty sure I know how to do it, but I'm not going to do it alone. I need somebody that's helping me, holding me accountable to be brave and courageous, because that's who I need to become in order for me to execute this marketing strategy, get more traffic and leads for my businesses, but also for me to be able to take the time off, right? To do the things and sell the clinic, that's like brave for me to take 6 weeks off in a year. Really brave. A month and a half. I think, oh my gosh, well, how is my team going to get along without me? And well, what about the patients? And I don't know. I just have to figure all that out when I get a little closer. But I am going to do this. So, what are the 3 things for you? What is no longer serving you? What is that thing that's no longer serving you? Number 2, what's your North Star? What do you need to be successful? And your North Star doesn't have to be business, it could be personal. Whatever your North Star is, doesn't matter. But what is no longer serving you in any domain of your life? Number 2, what's your North Star? What are you going to shoot for? What are you aiming for? What do you keep your sights on so hard and so fixed? Like you say, I'm not doing anything until I achieve that thing. I'm going to do all my resources are going to go to that one thing. That's my North Star. That's my bullseye in the target. And number 3, who do you need to become to get to that North Star? Who do you need to become to let go of the things that aren't serving you? Who do you need to become? So I shared mine very vulnerably with you, and I'm still a little shaky. Like my stomach's a little upset because this is, I like to kind of hide behind the mic, so to speak, and hide behind the camera, but I don't want to do this. And this was a big act of bravery and courage for me, right? Yay, I did it. Anyway, I'd love to know, did this resonate with you? What do you think about this? And I also would love to know, what are your responses? And you don't have to tell me everything, but I would love to hear from you. You can always DM me. You can message me on Facebook or Instagram, but I'd love to hear from you. If you love this and you love this topic and it inspired you, let me know. I'd love to hear.